Welcome back from the break, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get into our last match of the day here at the Overwatch League Blizzard Studios, live from Los Angeles. All the things that you need to go down at the top of the list, you know, we'll get better at it.
Yeah, I don't think so. You've had 3 stages, and
I've had many years as well. So let's get into it. It is going to be the final match of the day.
Yep.
So far, it's been weird because we've been having very quick matches that have still been competitive.
Well, ours was competitive.
Oh, like Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelia Atlanta one.
I was talking about us.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I don't know about the others.
No, that was not even a participation award worthy performance by Defiant. Anyway, here are our standings. The Defiant just saw them on stage. They were down to 12, but still in the hunt here. But the teams that we are looking at today are the Spark, right above that line right there at 6. Right below them, their opponent in the Dynasty. 11-7 are the Spark. 10-8 are the Dynasty. The Dynasty been getting it done in very quick fashion, though. Look at that map differential. So this one is huge as far as the season standings go. Getting yourself in the position to be in top 6, don't even have to play in the play-in.
Man, it's been a while since we've gotten to see these teams play against each other as well. I believe it was stage 2 before the big break in the middle where everybody gets to go home and relax a little bit. All right, now we're going to see when both of them seem to be picking up momentum, hitting their stride, who is going to take it.
Yeah, and I think even Hangzhou's record is a little bit deceiving as well because they've had their ups and downs, but these are all of the losses they have had. And there are some monsters on this list. Titans twice, Shock twice, the Defiant, not sure what happened there, Spitfire, former champions, Outlaws, I'm not sure what happened there. But
yeah,
you know, it's like there's a couple small outliers, but other than that, their losses are against the monsters of this league. And the good thing for them is, hey, they don't have to play either of those teams again. They're done with the Shock, they're done with the Titans, their guaranteed losses are out of the way.
This is where you start to get to see the better map differential for the Shock. Not for the Shock, for the Spark.
For the Dynasty have a much better differential because, yeah, the Spark event play.
Let's take a
the
look
best
at the
teams in
Seoul
the league.
standings.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at Seoul now, because I mean, right now it is exactly stage 3 schedule. Spark coming up next, Eternal Hunters, mid of the pack, mid of the tier kinds of teams, but then also they've gotten the Mayhem. You know, they've gotten a lot of nice matches.
Yeah, this is why Seoul is so confusing, is because it's so boom or bust. Like, they're dominating teams that they should be dominating. The Shock just rocked their socks off, though. But there's some mid-tier teams that can take maps off of the Shock, too, so that's why it's a little confusing. And it's also a big question of which Seoul are we going to see, not just from, like, a gameplay standpoint, but they've been fielding 12 different players on this roster. They're not just starting a 6 and going with them with a sub here and there. Literally all 12 of their players have had significant playing time this stage.
Yeah, that's the main thing. How do you get them to gel properly as a unit? You can only have so many specialists, Hex.
Yeah.
Seems like Seoul are willing to stick to that experiment, but let's go ahead and get their opponents out on the stage. First, to kick things off, it will be the Hangzhou Spark.
I think you better bow down.
My favorite third kit jerseys in the league. Perhaps my favorite walkout song as well. Everything about the Spark branding is on point, and that got them a lot of fans early on. But if you bought in for the pink colors and your pink Reaper skin, you stuck around for what has been a phenomenal team coming through. In the preseason, everybody told us, all of the veteran teams, all of the guys we trust said the Spark are going to be a good team, and finally, this is the prince that was promised.
Yes, we are starting to see the pink. We see a lot of that here in Los Angeles with the sunsets. These guys would just be lost in the horizon, much like perhaps their opponents by the end of this match. Let's get them out on the stage, the Seoul Dynasty.
Reppin' 82, I'm in Seoul City. Riding down the streets, got my homies with me. Pull up in a rover.
All right, that's a good song too. Coming out leading the Seoul Dynasty is Jae Hong. He's been playing the most for this team throughout the entire season.
They have magic sneakers?
Probably. I think they have a sneaker contract. They big league now. But perhaps the undisputed leader in Jae Hong on this team, like I said, he's been playing the most out of anybody on this roster. We'll have to wait till they sit down to see who they're actually fielding. The options are innumerable because they've got a great many players and they've been playing all of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to keep us guessing, Hex. It's going to keep us on our toes here going into these 4 maps. Because, you know, you've already got the standout players. Like Jae Young, obviously, who's built up his legacy, but Munchkin, a threat since day 1. Definitely up there in terms of the damage. And the rest of the team, it's just going to be able to pick it out as soon as what the coaches want to do on the given map.
Yeah.
What do the scrims look like for the Seoul Dynasty?
Right, and I think there's a lot of different strategies. They have a pretty deep coaching roster that goes through those, but Jaehong and Toby have been some of the mainstays. Toby has been picking up the Lucio a lot. Jexe had played a little bit for them on the Lucio as well, but this is the matchup I'm really looking forward to. I think IDK has become one of the most dominant Lucios in the league, up there with Moth, up there with Slime. He has a lot of environmental kills, and that's going to matter early on Ilios. Toby, no slouch himself when it comes to the environmental kills, and we've seen that Lucios don't always, the stat sheet doesn't always show it, because a lot of times you're getting in position to knock somebody else into position. That you're knocking the Reinhardt down there too. Unfortunately for Toby, Eichenwalde is not in the map pool today. Ilios is, but you just look at the environmental kills. IDK, third in the league with 42 total. This was one of the better ones that we've ever seen, because Color X was coming back with Grab. That's a game-winning boop right there. And these guys are monsters on Lucio, but IDK has been getting better and better every single match. Doesn't really care about healing.
No, but I mean, it's Lucio. You're there for an ult, and you're there to try and launch people into the void. So you have it right there. Third, environmental kills for IDK. Definitely living up to the statement and the highlight reels when it comes to the Lucio stuff. And, well, you know, we can get hype. You're right, Eichenwalde, maybe not, but good to see IDK making a comeback, because it was a bit rough for the Spark to kick things off in the season.
Yeah, they just had, I think we set the expectations very high, but now we're starting to see that they can live up to these lofty expectations we had. Let's see our map set presented by Toyota. Ilios will be first, and that's where we can see a lot of these environmental kills happen on at least 2 of the maps. Ruin's a little lesser so, because people are smart enough to not fight over the pack on the ledge, but definitely Well and Lighthouse can do it. Then we'll hit Horizon, we'll get to Numbani, so probably some more wacky stuff there, hopefully. And then we'll kick it all off on Havana. Let's see if Seoul does another 4-0 or an 0-4, or if they actually, you know, get a little mix-up of the scores here.
What do you think, Hex?
I have Hangzhou winning this. I don't know if it's going to be 4-0, but I have Hangzhou definitely winning.
You have Hangzhou doing work.
I think they've just been way more consistent lately than Seoul has.
Seoul is a bit of a question mark, so we'll see getting into it if they have any nerves going. I mean, it is a bit earlier in the day. Nice thing about the weekends, you start earlier here in the studio, which means that you can be a little bit sharper, perhaps, last match going into it. See if that's going to make a difference here for Seoul.
Another player to keep your eye on, too, is Adora for this Spark. Another thing that's not going to show up in stat sheets is the amount of ultimates that he negates, whether it be Shatter, EMP, or even the sound barrier for the other team. A big fracas kicks off here on the point. Adora is swinging away, but Toby gets one of those kills early on Baby. I told you, IDK gets Toby right back with the right click, so it's all the way back and forth.
I like this. IDK is like an enforcer in hockey. You ruined my Lucio! I'm gonna get you. You find the kills, and it's gonna happen. There we go, Adora.
Oh, that is such an early transcendence from Jaehong. My goodness! Already got a transcendence up and used it again.
Why not? Munchkin finds the kill on IDK, and right now Seoul have the distinct advantage. They have 5 on the point versus 2, and there's soon to be a full roster here for Seoul. So Hangzhou turning tail. They're going to get back over to spawn. We're going to take a look at the play made here by Toby to kick things off.
Sometimes I just see into the future, and I predicted it early on that you're going to see some environmental kills from both of these guys. Oh, my name is IDK. You killed my Zenyatta. Prepare to fly.
Prepare to fly.
All right. But during all of that, the early control was from Hangzhou, so Seoul had to win that fight to take it back. Now, they will take an early fight, grab to initiate.
Shatters playing a few out for a nap to kick things off. Trance has been used by Bebe. That's going to get thrown into the grab now, but back and forth. Jaehong finding ADK. This is going to be supports hunting supports the entire match. They don't even care about anything else that's going on right now. They just need to settle a score between themselves.
Jaehong has had a monster game so far. Not only the early 50-second transcendence to get his team that first capture, but IDK just lost his ultimate. He was trying to sound barrier, and Jaehong sniped him out of the sky.
Glad to see Jaehong coming back into his zone as well. There was a while there for a minute where we thought, Jaehong, how's it going? You have the confidence.
Part of stage 1 was not ideal for the Emperor.
finds his own. If he can keep hitting some headshots like that too, things are going to get spicy here for the Spark, who are currently getting put on notice. They have control of the point right now, the Spark, but the Seoul Dynasty seem confident in their ability to take it back, considering they have these support ultimates to play off of. So rally used by Adora, but it may be too little too late here as Bebe is going to get punted.
Another one. Bebe off the edge. Still control for the Spark.
Yeah, despite it all, IDK this time chucking two. IDK chucking two, and well, Alyssa's just taking the dump just to get back to spawn all the quicker because there's a chance here to take another fight for Seoul, but they have to be quick.
Yeah, IDK might have the league lead now in environmental kills. Another couple right now. That's why we highlighted it on the pregame, or the pre-show. We highlighted it before this match goes off. These Lucios are insane.
Plus, this map is also built for him. I mean, this is where you really get to have the feel.
Yeah, you kind of have to fight in their danger zone.
Yeah, so right now it's a risky run, and so far Jae-Hong's decided it's time to use the trance. Hoping to keep his team up, and so far doing a fairly good job of it. Zumba getting a bit of attention now, but for now it's going to be IDK again. Jae-Hong out of it, down a man on the side of Seoul, and things aren't looking too hot here for him because they are getting pressured. Bebe's gonna go down, but that can set it up here for the Spark. Not looking though. Adora, where is Adora going down in this picture? How does that happen?
Never really know where these Brigaders are trying to get too aggressive or not. It's fine though for the Spark. They're at 99%. They can come back in and recontest with the rally. I believe now IDK is second in the league with environmental kills, only 3 behind Mott. While our Master Pitch was telling me that he got another. So, yeah, I was doing the quick math in my head. 4 minus 1, all right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's tough to keep up with Mott. Man makes it difficult. Flutting around all over the place.
All right, we've got Rally, we've got Shatter as self-destruct as well. Nothing for Seoul right now to work with.
Pressure right now, it's just Gushui following him because he's got a Shatter. He's gonna huck it out there, snipes one, gonna try to go for it. Not going to connect Mech with Wall, but his teammates in the meantime get the job done. And it's a 1-0 lead now for the Spark over the Seoul.
Sets up the self-destructs. IDK, I think, got another one towards the end. I'm sorry, I'm just really fascinated by this little mini-game environmental kill count. I think he's 2 behind the lead, number 2nd in the league in environmental kills. And now we're on Ruins. We'll see if someone wants to fight over that pack on the ledge. It's a little less environmental kill friendly, but still all the same fun. A pretty tightly contested first round there. 18-14 in favor of Hangzhou as far as kills go on our very first round of Ilios. I'm just very obsessed with this little mini game of environmental kills right now. It's been so close. It was everything that we thought it was going to be early on. But Hangzhou looking to pick up this point of Ilios and thus the map to open things off.
A fewer opportunity on this map. It is environmentally unsound over on the right side there if you look at Gushui's screen, but not usually too many fights going down. I don't know, as they say that. Let's see, they're gonna be pushing through. Hangzhou wanting to apply the maximum amount of pressure to the Seoul Dynasty, and look at that, this time it's not even going to be a Lucio. The Brigida can punch you pretty far as well.
A whip shot right there. And so Hangzhou is a very high first elimination rate. I'm rounding up right now, but I think it's around 60% where they get the first elimination. But the team fight wins when they get first elimination, again, rounding-ish, 90% of the time. When Hangzhou get the first kill in this stage, they win fights 90% of the time.
They just need to not give up the first kill.
Yeah, not ideal.
I remember them being at like 55 or 60% win rate, even if they do give out the first. I mean, they are definitely no slouch. The Spark, though, looking to take the recontest, but it's a fully charged up Munchkin right now who's just going to be looking to beam them down as they push onto the point. Gushui is going to have to be careful to manage that shield, and there's the grab going down. Got speed to open it up, though, with the kill on Marvel, but that's traded. A D-Mech on Rhea may slow things down here for the Spark. And now it's Gushui trying to set up shop.
It's so difficult to get kills when you lose your Reinhardt. Once the grab is in there, you're really expecting those hammer swings to come through and hit multiple targets. This is gonna allow the Spark to be able to save their Graviton Surge for the next one as Godspeed cleans up the remainder. And that's just good economy management now for Hangzhou. They had to use the Transcendence, but with Marvel down, real no kills coming in during Munchkin's Graviton Surge. And Hangzhou will take control of the point.
Onwards we go, 50% for Seoul, 15 on the Spark, and the ult's fairly balanced. There it is, Godspeed. Gonna find it in the air. Marvel getting brought in. There's the defensive self-destruct over the top. Fairly stable there for the Hangzhou.
That was an interesting grab.
It's very grab. It wasn't anything. Gushui dying, though, that's definitely something that's not going to help things here for the Spark. Down a man already in this fight. They need to find a kill quick, but there's the grab to throw it in, and this is really just Munchkin wanting to end it right here. All right, you're not going to get a chance to come back into this fight. You're going back to spawn. Now you're going to get to go ahead and contest a little bit, but it's not going to be for long.
Die on the point time right there. It was just such a strange graviton from Godspeed to just throw it in there from the distance. Only gets one, lifts him off of the point, but the rest of his team can't follow up on that.
Yeah.
They can't drop down, and if they do, they're walking into a hornet's nest. So I don't know, Godspeed has these great plays, and he's just got these head scratchers like that one. It's very strange there. Because even if you're range damage, you just grabbed him behind a wall and your range has to take weird angles. D.Va's gonna be able to cover one of those angles. So, strange, but moving forward.
Sometimes you got to be able to make the plays, man.
I guess. Seoul is now in control of the point. They've got a shatter, they've got a self-destruct. Those combos work well together. You can hit them both at the same time.
All right, I mean, this is getting into one-fight territory now, though. About to pass the 90% mark. Shield thrown out. There's the shatter. Counter shatter going in. And Godspeed there to find the kill on Marvel. Once again, we lose Rhea, but this is still shaping up. Gushui going down is not going to help things. And Gushui's got to learn where that cliff is, because if he keeps getting punted off of it, he's going to cost his team so much.
Yeah, Alyssa's got him a couple different times there with the whip shot. The shield breaks down. Another grab that gets absolutely nothing for Hangzhou. Transcendence helping out in that one. And unless Hangzhou can find something huge here, we're going to go to a third stage.
It's looking like it, Max. It's looking like it. Godspeed getting revenge. Gushui getting it here, too. Unbelievable. Do they actually manage to turn this around? They've got the damage. They've got a Hammond here to throw things out of whack. It's about keeping Godspeed alive and keep Godspeed alive, and he will carry, but it's not going to happen. Zuma goes down, but that might have been enough. The stall is unbelievable from the Spark.
They get back on the point. Thanks a lot to the Rhea switch onto Wrecking Ball. He's going to go all the way back. He's going to switch on to a main tank again. And they've got the Lucio Taxi with them in the back. IDK coming in with Barrier as well. Marvel doing the exact same thing. He's going to come back on a Reinhardt as well. We'll get the same Taxi, and we're going to clash again. And given how long a lot of these fights are lasting, this is very well the last fight for Hangzhou as well.
This is very even right now in terms of the tools that these teams have to work with. Godspeed slightly ahead on the graph, but Toby's going to get that sound barrier if he doesn't die first. That was close. Getting chunked right now. IDK, keep the team up.
Rally's going to be very important. As soon as it comes up, Ador's going to hit it.
IDK trying to, oh, what was that? Oh, working with it! Adora making the play off of IDK's boop, and Gushui finds Munchkin. This has turned around in the blink of an eye, and the Hangzhou Spark looking like they're going to be able to take it off the Seoul Dynasty here. Jaehong is trying to buy as much time as possible. The rally, the trance, even the self-destruct getting thrown in, but this time you lose Illicit. And as they stream back onto the point, Seoul Dynasty are going to be dropping one after another unless the Spark screw things up, but it's not looking likely.
The Spark are throwing a lot of ultimates in here without being pressured, but they're getting all of these kills, so it doesn't really matter. Munchkin has a grab, but he's going to be the only one there. He can grab and die if he wants, but it's Hangzhou taking Ilios in rather easy, relatively easy fashion.
They had to fight a little bit. It proved to be a scrappy fight.
It got scrappy.
So, working on it. We'll see how it pans out on the second map.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
前几个月 Crystal 回国的那个期间，他回去的时候，你想他吗？
好。
Hey guys, it's your Chinese insider Emily, and I'm on my way to pick up Guxue and Crystal from the Hangzhou Spark. They're gonna be in for a real treat today because I'm taking them to a cat cafe to pet kitties. Today on Access Granted, driven by Toyota. 那你们俩业余时间会听什么音乐？
就 Lady Gaga 的。
Guxue，你喜欢 Lady Gaga？
我是最近在听那些她的歌。
Nice。
比较喜欢听说唱的。
你要是听美国的这些 rap， 能听懂吗？
听不懂。
Is this it? Oh my gosh! Woo! Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty. You're so cute. 你看，他穿的是杭州 Spark 颜色。Crystal， 你们家猫咪叫什么？
我叫曲奇。
好吃吗？你们对这边的饮食习惯吗？
有请就是做中餐。
川菜？
没有。
没。
也韩国菜和也是中餐，一些中菜吧。
他喜欢你的鞋。
我这个还穿尾巴。
哦，100岁。我们这边说 bless you， 国内好像没有这种说法，对吧？I had so much fun petting cats with Guxue and Crystal. Tune in next time on Access Granted, driven by Toyota.
Well, here we are, Hex. We're going to get to watch those guys throw down in game. No cats to worry about here.
I'm sorry, very little response to that video. It really threw me for a loop. Yeah, those cats were chill. Anytime I try to pet a cat, I just get scratched and clawed, and I'm like, that's all right.
Many memories.
Yeah.
Lying pointy side up. Yeah, that's Calvin and Hobbes reference.
All right, well.
Just gotta throw it out there.
The Spark looked pretty good in their first match there. A lot of boops from the IDK, but very difficult to get boops here on Horizon unless the team makes the very strange rotation to go out to the right side in space as they try to get onto point A here. Capture point A, unlocks point B, and there you go. After, Matt Damon's little homegrown farm, he gets point B over here, and he capture B. That is how Assault works, but you already knew that. So let's take a look at the lineups these teams want to run. It does seem like no one is coming out with anything super interesting right now. We've seen a lot of 3-3 defense on this map. Some teams will go ahead and throw a little bit of offensive DPS in here, but with how good Hangzhou's been on 3-3 lately, and they were one of the teams early on that we felt like, hey, maybe you play something different. You've got all these great DPS players on this team, but they've really honed it down and gotten their coordination so much better with Godsby, working with Guxue, trying to get those bubbles down and the aggression down, and they've really gotten so much better at it that I think they should actually be running 3-3 into Seoul.
Well, they're going for it right now. I mean, this is going to be the same kind of approach. Low ground, high ground, which one's it gonna be? Which one is it going to shape up? And wow, actually Seoul decided to drop down early and take the fight to him. That's putting Jaehong out of position. It looks like Jaehong wanted to hang out up top and Rhea just pounced on him.
So, I mean, we say 3-3 and that these teams are going to slam into each other, but for the most part, it ends up being a lot of times 5v5, and then the D.Va taking off angles. Taking an off angle on high ground and pelting behind the Reinhardt, so he has to flip his shield. Just getting damage where you can get in on it, and then you see targets of opportunity. Say a lone Zenyatta hanging out somewhere on the high ground, you're able to boost in, micro-missile burst damage, and right off the bat, no time spared, the Spark will take first point. 7 minutes of their time bank.
Yeah, just as quick as you could possibly hope for, especially given this current meta. 3-3, just usually you're gonna see them fight it out forever.
No one's even got ults, like not even close.
You're gonna have Guxue, I guess? I mean, he's been doing some work, so there you go. He's got a shatter, that could be fun.
Zumba! D-Max!
Zumba D-Max, still have Marvel throwing it, but he sees an opportunity. There's the snipe, nicely played by Guxue. Pays for it with his life, though, and so unfortunately for him, trying to make the plays may end up costing him.
Team-making Zuma made a cost him right there because she's out there with the Baby Blaster putting the damage in, ends up taking out Guxue.
Not every day you get to see the Baby D.Va. find the kills in the feed. Grabs all over the place, self-destructs over the top. Rhea gonna find Munchkin. They need this to happen faster though on the side of the Spark because of the respawn advantage that Seoul Dynasty have, spawning right outside the door. They are able to stream back on here unless you're getting 2-3 kills instant.
Yeah, but Gushui got back in, and now everybody is alive and on the point for their Hangzhou, and it's a terrible situation for Seoul, just trying to get some stall time now.
Munchkin going for Widow as well. Interesting decision here. Gonna find it's actually a melee shot, not even a headshot onto IDK, but that's the job done. Blindingly quick take of Lunar, 2 points for the Hangzhou Spark. And there you have it. That's as good as it gets, Hex.
Yeah, I just looking at the timing. 5:46 remain. We'll see if Seoul can come even close to it on their offense when we return.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Into the iris. Into the iris.
And so, much like electricity, they move so blindingly fast, Hex, you can't even get a grip on them. There was no way that Seoul Dynasty were catching that bit of lightning in the bottle. It was all over.
Only 2 kills for Seoul Dynasty, that entire defense. One courtesy of the Bunny Blaster from D.Va after they got Zuma out of mech. And the second one, a garbage time nothing, meaning melee kill onto IDK.
Well, we got the match of the week coming up tomorrow. We are not done yet. Sunday, 4 matches, and this one happens to be the match of the week on Twitch, ESPN app, Disney XD, XD. Get into it.
It's gonna
be sure to tune in tomorrow.
Chengdu Hunters, one of my favorite teams, versus Dallas Fuel, match of the week tomorrow. Let's Chengdu it. But as for now, we've got Seoul coming out on the 3-3, and if they make a single mistake, they will have less time in the time bank than Hangzhou Spark, who went through this Seoul defense like it was non-existent.
That's essentially what it was, Hex. It wasn't there. Well, there we go. Now we're going to get to see, because this is where basically most of the game happens. Do they rotate up the stairs? Which way are they going through? Do they go into the room?
Do they go all the way through, or do they get dropped on?
And that's how it's supposed to go. That's what Seoul Dynasty were trying to do to the Hangzhou Spark. But they lost Jayhawk and it all went down.
It's the exact same thing that happened though. Zuma's able to pick up Bebe up top.
Yeah, but we lose Munchkin and Marvel and that's it. But you're right, you're absolutely right. That's pretty much it.
It's the exact same thing that happened. However, Hangzhou was able to get some trades during that one, and they will have Bebe back into the fight, courtesy the IDK taxi.
Before the Seoul Dynasty can get here, it's going to be a close one. It's
Already,
gonna be a close one.
Already a better defense.
Yes.
Already better defense from Hangzhou.
Yes, but there's an awkward spot here, and we'll see if Seoul pick up on it because now they are only just now getting back.
Yeah, and they're unable to take the far high ground.
Yeah.
So now it is a positional rotation. Seoul's able to gain this high ground for free, and they will likely try to bully them back off of the stairs.
Now it's a question of whether Spark, how do they choose to take this? Because Seoul Dynasty, now that they've gotten that, they're going to drop onto the point itself. There's a light contest coming through here from the Spark. The Spark trying to do this well, though. They do not want to overcommit and drop somebody. That's exactly what Seoul are hoping for. And there's Marvel trying to make the plays. Trance used by Baby, though. Should be keeping everybody whole and hale, and Jaehong, same thing.
Godspeed's gonna get his grab, and Trance was just used right now, trying to find the big opening. They're gonna give up some progress for free, because they want to get Zumba out of mech before this grab gets committed.
Nice, there's the grab going in. Do they get any kind of follow-up, though? Gushui not gonna be able to take advantage of it. And right now, the Seoul Dynasty are keeping their eye on the prize, which is to always have a body on the point. While that whole fight was going on, they were still making progress, and now it's just a matter of cleanup for Seoul, and they're going to get the job done. First point picked up, 5 minutes 44, I think there was like 45, so they were already slower than the total bank, but
a great
it's fine.
self-destruct, but it was Seoul taking edge after edge in the positional battle. They were able to take the high ground early on. It was a really nice move by Toby to knock 3 people down. It gave Seoul the position on the point as well.
Yeah, just see, taking advantage of that opening. Kill on Bebe provided. Now it's going to be Hangzhou Spark, backs to the wall. This is it, the second point. Are we going to see one of those drawn out back and forth matches, or Hangzhou Spark going to be able to establish some form of defense here?
Forcing out the early Transcendence. Munchkin at 91, going to be able to grab whenever he wants to.
This is spicy too, because IDK doesn't have a sound barrier to help. Oh, but the kill on Zumba. Okay, man advantage. Hangzhou Spark still hanging in here. Godspeed somehow, even without the trance, they don't need a trance. They'll still survive your grab.
Really nice counter plays there, and then once you get 1 or 2 kills on the defense, that's just about it. Hangzhou now in a decent position with ultimates. The biggest danger on most assault maps is getting quick capped on second after you get capped onto first. Very nice here. No changes from either squad. Gonna keep running these base formations. Rally for both teams, very likely going to be mirrored ultimates. Rally's one of those, you hear the other team use it, you just smash it right away. Maybe a little later you can get a small advantage out of it, but it's not the greatest of deals.
There it is, you see it, yep, you heard it. So Adora delays and now uses Rally. Going to be getting everybody, they're in this fierce staring match right now. And eventually they will get ejected off the high ground, the Spark, and so the Seoul Dynasty gets to decide where this fight will take place. They get to drop down onto the point. Marvel's gonna be there, and the rest of Seoul follow. And there's the grab that's waiting for him. Jaehong had the trance ready and waiting though, and Toby's got the sound barrier as well, but that somehow does not save Illicit. Looks like Illicit got taken for a ride.
Gushui takes this great off angle. He drops into the hallway to the right of them, and they don't necessarily see him coming on the charge. He's able to pick one up. Now the chase is happening. Jaehong will fall late. All of this damage coming in. Godspeed getting so much more ultimate charge out of this chase. I love teams that can just flip that switch of, oh, we're on the defensive. We gotta kill everyone, chase them down, get them to the end. Nice play there.
Sick. That's gonna waste so much time. And now Seoul have gotta stomp their way back in here, slightly deflated. No progress made on the point itself. 3 minutes on the clock now for Seoul. So you've got Toby with the sound. Zumba with the self-destruct. Gushui gonna get pinned to the wall, and Bebe goes up as well, just like that in the blink of an eye. Seoul Dynasty with the combo play that could work out beautifully here. Sound barrier thrown in by IDK, trying to buy time for the Spark. There are still ultimates up here for the Spark as well. So Rhea, self-destruct there. Do we have the shatter from Gushui? Bebe's got the trance as well to delay. He's trying to hold on to it though, because there is still a lot of room here for the Spark to work with.
Well, if Seoul doesn't get it right here, it's going to be Munchkin kicking himself, because he tried to launch into zoning grab and it got absolutely nothing. He could hold on to that for a little bit later. And right now, Hangzhou is at least buying time. Godspeed's gonna have a grab of his own. I just don't know if there's the follow-up here. Doesn't force out ultimates.
Stay alive, that's the name of the game. So long as you can keep contesting. You still have Rhea who's rolling around trying to be a nuisance, and he is doing a good job of it.
They got 1 kill. IDK's able to get Illicit right there.
But Rhea's, oh, they stayed alive long enough for the mines. That's so frustrating if you're Seoul.
Zumba's now out of mech as well. And they're stalling this out big time. A huge kill! And now Baby's got Transcendence! Baby gets a second and a third!
Where does this happen? Where does this come from? Baby making all the plays. Hello, indeed.
When you talk about this Hangzhou team, what makes them so amazing is they've got this support line that crushes. You've got Bebe and IDK who have individual skills to the max right there. Toby out of his 1 kill, then you get a D-Max Zumba, out by Jaehong, and here's a Transcendence just to show my victory moves. My goodness. You start talking about these guys in the same vein as like Slime and Twilight. They have that potential, they just haven't been as consistent as those two.
Wondering about the trance now. He's trying to build it up as quickly as possible. Again, Munchkin, there's the grab. Not going to wait around for it. Shattered thrown out, though. That is buying a lot of time, and Bebe's going to go ahead and snipe Illicit, who was taking a bit of a nap. Not the hardest target to hit. The Shatter worked wonders. This is going to be soul-destroying for Seoul Dynasty if they aren't able to pull it off.
Because you're right to question that victory trance that he pulled off after the 3K, because he got plenty. Did you really need the Transcendence? But now all is forgiven. Yeah. You just got another kill. Transcendence up. You have your own grab. This is one of the last gasps for Seoul, but these fights have been happening so quickly. Seoul has a lot to work with here, and they only need one more tick of progress.
Exactly, and so they really have to stay eyes on the prize here, Spark. Do not step off that point no matter what happens. Godspeed just lobs a grab in there. Jaehong is there to support them.
Super patient. Transcendence even waited a second. He saw that no one in the Graviton was under pressure.
You lose Rhea, though. Toby with the sound barrier. Gushui hanging on by a thread. He's getting tough. That's going to cost Godspeed a door of their lives, and it's looking like it's not meant to be here for the Spark unless they can continue to try and stall, but it just seems to be too much here. Rhea coming back with the hamster, but it's just not good enough. And eventually, finally, at the end of a 5-minute, 45-second struggle, the Seoul Dynasty succeed.
Well, they've held on, let's say, because the time bank discrepancy is 5 minutes and 36 in favor of Hangzhou here. That is an eternity in Overwatch time. So Seoul keeps their hopes alive, but just by the thinnest of margins. We go do it all again on HLC when we return.
So, Seoul Dynasty, I got so thrown off there, but okay, Seoul Dynasty, they're into it. They've got a minute on the clock, Hex. Hangzhou Spark, they're on the defense, and they have 6 minutes, 36 seconds in their bank when they go on offense after this. So, some would say that this is a Sisyphean task here for Seoul Dynasty where they're gonna have to try and push a boulder up, and that boulder's just gonna roll back and crush them. It's not gonna give them a chance.
But Sisyphus kept getting a lot more chances at it. Seoul only has one shot at this, right? So a Herculean to, I don't know.
Excalibur, you're trying to pull it out, but you're not Arthur. Like, you know, it's a bit of an uphill struggle.
There's some sort of mythology happening here, but Seoul has to win this fight right here to really have a good chance. Adora super low, has to back out, has to get healing. Hangzhou losing the poke war in pretty poor fashion right now. Gonna have to back up, take one fight on the point. Don't force yourself into a bad fight if you're Hangzhou.
Now you've got all the time in the world. No reason. You've already shown that you're capable of playing this incremental game. So don't throw it away here. Seoul Dynasty, though, they're going to be feeling the pressure. They need to get in here. Rhea, everybody's very low on the Hangzhou Spark side of things right now. Rhea's barely surviving in that mech. Bebe's already got trance, though.
Transcendence in here, because you think that Munchkin can't have ult just yet. They Transcendence aggressively.
They do, and this is interesting because Alyssa gets picked immediately. IDK's gone. If you can take Munchkin, that would be big, but it's going to be a whole bunch of pink in the kill feed before Seoul Dynasty can make it happen. And now Godspeed, eye in the sky, lobs it in. And Seoul Dynasty, it's not looking likely.
Had to do it, but they lost Marvel so early. There was no follow-up hammer damage through that Graviton surge. And if I were a gambling man, which I'm not, but it's a good song, I would say that Hangzhou is in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, they're in a pretty good spot.
Pretty good.
That's a lot of money. Look at that. There's no pressure on these guys right now.
6 minutes and 36 seconds to get 65% on the first point of Horizon Lunar Colony. You could mess around with DPS compositions if you wanted, just throw in the Pharah, because those poke compositions will eventually whittle away a tank-heavy team from a distance, too. We used to see it all the time on Hanamura, so like you can adjust your composition based on your win scenario and how much time you have to do it, right? You have 6 minutes to take 1 point You can play DPS compositions if you want. You can play almost anything if you want with this kind of advantage.
You can have fun.
I mean, it's fun to win. I think
winning is the most
It's
fun.
more fun to win than anything else.
But this is definitely like it doesn't even look like they really want to change it, maybe. Bebe could stick on the Moira. That wouldn't be a drastic change.
Yeah, you could do Moira. Adora could go into another tank, and you could see the old school slambulance that we used to see with four pure tanks, a Lucio and a Moira.
Yeah.
But let's see what they leave spawn with here. Atora's out here. Okay. Yeah.
And it's back.
All right. Okay, so they're gonna go Brigitte and then also a.
Were they trying to check things out? And it was like a bunker comp that they were dealing with.
They have all the time in the world to scope things out and have a plan here. Hangzhou essentially needs to win one good fight. On Assault, it's usually not a prolonged battle of teams respawning and getting back in there quickly. Once you get a couple and you can snowball it, you just win the point.
Straight in. There we go. Once again, they drop to the low ground, and this time it's Marvel who's going to get the door closed on him. Literally. And it looked like IDK was even waiting for it. He was trying to just come in for the sweep and boop him deeper into the rooms that Marvel really had nowhere to go. He was just a dead robot.
Ria's out of Mac, but you make the trade for Divas Mac versus a main tank shield any day of the week. And now it's the support show as IDK and Bebe collapse on a combo. Goushue is there to pick it up. This one's all over but the crying for the Seoul Dynasty. Desperation time. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna work. Hangzhou take a 2-0 lead in the series, and that one was in dominant fashion.
Yes, Hangzhou showing us what they are capable of here. Lunar Colony clearly a map for them where they know what they're trying to get done. The Seoul Dynasty now back to the coaching room, back to the staff, and the bench that is massive as well. So I'm very curious to see what Seoul Dynasty are going to come up with after the break for us, because we have the halftime show coming up in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Pass into the iris. Pass into the iris.
Nerf this!
Огонь по готовности!
Today's matchup between the Dynasty and the Spark
What are some of the X factors that could decide this matchup?
Well, I think early on, especially, one of the big X factors might just be gravity, because you've got both of these Lucios, and we're going to kick it off onto Ilios. There's a big hole in the center of one of these maps. There's a big edge on the other side of things. IDK, third in the league in environmental kills. He is knocking people over the place. Toby, unfortunately, Eichenwald is not in there, but I think starting off really strong on Ilios here, especially based on these Lucio players, could be enormous. And you think about the best teams in the league, they all have great Lucio players. Slime is up there, Moth is up there, MVP type candidates. It might be time to start thinking of IDK in that same vein.
The little one called it. You heard him on the pre-show. Hex right there, giving it the most. One of the highest level insight we could possibly get. Josh, I was going to give you credit there. I was like, Hex deserves more. Mitch, you said during the break, though, that was your point. You felt this was actually going to happen, and we gave it to Hex.
I did say I wanted to talk about Gooshman and IDK, and then it got split up because Hex needed something to talk about, so it's fine. I'm doing his homework.
I like it. Well, let's talk about Ilios, because the boops were on point. In fact, 20% of all kills scored on Ilios were in the form of a knockoff from the map. The environmental
50,
kills over and over again. Let's take a look back at some of the biggest ones. It started with Toby, one of the players we highlighted in that pre-show for the Seoul Dynasty, but he wasn't the only one getting in on the action.
Oh, huge work, honestly, from Toby, IDK, and then both of the Brigida players as well. And they were not just kind of inconsequential environmental kills, they were game-defining environmental kills at crucial times, particularly this one. I thought the Hangzhou Spark were about to lose this fight, and then a double boop on Marvel and Munchkin.
Yeah, there was some boop chains as well. The Briggs were helping out the Lucios on some of these maps. You see this one here.
It's a double boop.
Yep. Straight away it was IDK that went through, and then Andorra follows up there. And that's a large distance to get booped. A lot of that map is open air. So
you heard the commentator saying, though, we all thought this was going to a third round. That Hangzhou hold, this stall out in Rhea had such a huge impact to take game one for the Spark. And Rhea, he's a performer we saw all throughout game two as well.
All throughout the season, honestly, the Hangzhou Sparks Diva player has been getting a lot of credit for these huge bombs early on in the season. That's more to do with the team's coordination, but here on Horizon, you saw what he's mostly known for. It's finding these off angles and pressuring either the backline or the Reinhardt, and he came out clutch. Applies so much pressure to enemy teams, you basically have to put a Discord orb on him and force him out, otherwise you are going to lose the neutral engagement.
And this is such a good map for Divas to get good high ground control, because you can't always leave your Zarya up there to try and farm with that high charge. But it's not just Zenyatta's that Rhea's picking off, and the bombs are great. I've seen him go after Munchkin on multiple occasions, and that's where all the healing resources are going for, to the Zarya. And despite that, Rhea is still able to get in and take out the biggest source of damage in this 3-3 composition. Now, the man is doing everything. He's got these side angles. Even the enemy Reinhardt can't drop their shield without fear of getting blown up.
Bebe also you saw popping off at the end there, and I just love how the Hangzhou Spark has developed as a team. They have a nutty backline with Bebe, Adora, and then IDK as well. And then Godsby and Rhea are so smart in the way that they play and put Gunshui as a priority. And this, I think, comes back to the question that we were saying with Seoul Dynasty. If they had stuck with a 6, they might be as coordinated as Spark are right now.
I have to ask you, Josh, a few weeks ago, Bren went the way of the Spark when he was arguing for top 4 teams. You were saying you thought it was the Shanghai Dragons. Are the Spark the clear top 4 team in the game right now?
At the moment, yes, absolutely. The Hangzhou Sparks record, the fact that they haven't really lost to any team other than the Titans or the Shock, they're now quite easily handling teams like the Seoul Dynasty as well. They are definitely the 4th best team in the league right now, and might even push for higher than that in the Stage 3 playoffs.
I think the Spark are definitely a shoo-in for our playoffs. Let's take a look at our Stage 3 playoff picture right now. Remember, it's the top 8 teams will be competing for those performance bonuses. And if you look at the standings currently, you got Hangzhou Spark here at number 4. You got the Seoul Dynasty at number 5. They're tied with the Valiant there, and you can see it's a 3-way tie with the Outlaws as well. The loser of this, though, they're going to fall to 3-2, and they're going to drop out of our current playoff picture. So the question for me is, knowing that for the Hangzhou Spark, it gets easier. You're going to play Florida. You're going to play the Valiant. On the other side, for Seoul Dynasty, you got some tough matches with guys like Paris coming up. Is this a must-win for Seoul Dynasty today?
I think so, yeah. Their map differential also will be called into question, because already they're -2 in this series, so that would put them at only +2 and 3-2 with a loss here. Whereas the Spark would be clear. I mean, they're already +10 on map differential. They could have the highest map differential positively in the league, and that matters when you've got a bunch of teams that could be 6-1, 5-2, and they'll be in the mix.
I don't want to crush your narrative that you built in here, Puckett, but I don't think this is must-win for Seoul, because I think they're going to come out and slap Paris, Chengdu, be able to make it into stage 3 anyway. I think they're only just underneath the level of the
You think they slap Chengdu?
I think they slap them around with a big old fish.
I think Josh has been drinking early on the show, but we'll have to find out. Plenty more games to come, including Game 3 coming up after this.
And when it comes to in-game communication, if they say some words in Korean, I understand like some of them that have to do with the enemy or some abilities or something like that.
처음부터 게임 많이 하고 서로 이제 얘기도 이제 영어로 많이 하려고 하다 보니까 언제부턴가 이제 좀 자연스럽게 친해지게 된 것 같아요. 이미 많이 친해요.
Pass into the iris. Pass tranquility. Greetings.
Огонь по готовности.
Pass into the iris.
Огонь по готовности.
Pass into the iris.
Огонь по готовности.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And we've been informed during the break that we're going to actually get a little bit of a treat here from Seoul Gaming, Seoul Dynasty. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out.
Are we going to get to have whatever Josh was having?
Yeah, I knew that paper cup looks suspicious. Come on, Josh.
That's a red solo cup. You're like, I'm always dodgy of those. But yeah, we have some substitutions. A few minor substitutions. If at first you don't succeed, try again, and replace the whole team. Seoul with an entirely new roster coming on.
I love it. Fitz, Michelle, Fisher, Jexay, and Hailey. And we're going to get them obviously here on the screen, one after the other. But, I mean, why not, Hex? You got a whole other roster. Well, that roster clearly wasn't working. Let's just go ahead and throw the other roster in real quick.
I'm pretty sure this is an Overwatch League first. I cannot remember it happening, nor imagining it happening. Seoul is one of the only teams that has fielded all 12 players at different points in time. So, A team, B team, C team, D team, whatever. New team on the field.
It's so sick. And I was going a bit off the deep end, but imagine if you had two teams, all things being equal. Your opponents would always have to try and prep for two teams.
If you had one team that played like the Shock and the other team that played like Chengdu, and you just mixed it up, which you didn't know who to play. But we shall see which Seoul Dynasty kind of comes on board. Like I said, it's both metaphorical and literal. Which Seoul team's gonna show up? Now we got the absolute. It's ridiculous.
When it comes to the meta, they're not going for any changes here. It seems Seoul Dynasty, it is still going to be the Rhine variant of 3.
It does seem like one of the biggest differences is that Fissure plays a little more aggressively, so maybe it's a little more aggressive roster. They don't want to just let Bebe sit back there and dominate the team, so maybe they can put more pressure on him with the playstyle of Michelle as well. And no, we're not going to have 3-3, because I think they're coming back to make some changes. See who that is going to be changing. Never mind.
Who? What?
Yep, sorry. Got a little loss of the weeds there. The whole Seoul thing's throwing me off. So we do have a 3-3 composition on the side of Hangzhou, 3-3 on the side of Seoul Dynasty. The Rhine variants for both sides. Sometimes you see Winston on the defense. Not the case here. Time to get bubbles and smash hammers. Let's see who comes out on top.
Let's go. Hammer to the face. Yep, there it is. Speed boost and chaos. And who comes out ahead?
Not Godsby, that's for sure. Godsby Adore, baby die. That one's over. And nice late charge from Fisher. I think he got a huge fire strike in during that one too, because he's already got his shatter off.
Yeah, he must have as soon as they come. I mean, imagine all 6 of them walking single file up there. Fire strike does a lot of damage. That's probably a big reason why Hangzhou just got dumped. And Hangzhou not looking too hot themselves as far as the ult game is concerned. They obviously didn't get much of an opportunity to build ult charge, so now we're back into it. Rinse and repeat. Grasshopper.
Not gonna go at it again. Charge again, shield up, bubble down, boots off, and a huge shatter. What a play!
Yep.
Jexley on high,
Clean.
waits for him to come in. The bubble's not there yet, knocks off Gushue, and then, you know, that's the only thing there to stop the shatter.
Yeah.
Huge shatter. You built it up so quickly, you might as well use it. And Seoul, dare I say, looks like a brand new team.
How did you come to that conclusion, Hex? Was it the 6 different players on the stage right now? The fresh, clean, new faces? Well, there we go. Iron Fisher, they just get to rinse and repeat. Now you're actually getting, there we go. Spark are making the adjustment. No longer going.
Yeah. And because Seoul didn't pressure this, they might not go for the full wraparound. They're just gonna play this corner now, I think, and come back in. If Seoul had pressured it, I think they continue to boost, go all the way through the house and try to take high ground, which is one of the rotations you can make as an offense on Numbani. But as of right now, they're not pressured promptly enough, so they're just gonna play corner.
Well, now you've got a fully charged Fitz, so there's going to be a lot of damage dealt
On an
to that
early
shield.
transcendence from Bebe.
Yep, there it is. Textbook stuff. There's the grab, comes on through. Bomb goes boom, no kills though. Bebe getting top back up again, and that's a big shatter. That's a big shatter. Godspeed. Melted him. We lose Bebe, but this still might be enough here for the Hangzhou Spark if they can keep it together. You don't have the Discord orb anymore, but Godspeed needs to survive.
Godspeed was so close to being able to save Bebe with his own bubble, but was unable to get the angle on top of that bomb. It might not matter though, the damage is still coming in furiously from Hangzhou right now. They bullied the D.Va out into the corner. Now this should be a fall right here. Big shatter, but a nice displacement. Baby's back into it.
Is Gushue getting taken? Yep, there we go. Fisher making plays. Taking a door out. Gushue too. Looking for the snipe. IDK playing with fire there.
I think IDK got another environmental earlier, so we'll have to update his little minigame score. But this one is all Seoul again now, as they will escort Godspeed back to spawn. 1 tick taken. That ominous music. 20 seconds left.
What do you do? If you're the Spark, you got to get all the way back. This is one of the longest run distances on offense as well. You're coming all the way back from spawn.
Yeah, it's the
seconds.
saltiest run back. You try to get Godspeed in position to give Gushue a bubble right here, and you let him charge in.
Yeah, you're hoping that Godspeed's gonna make it. Godspeed, he just made it. Oh, and there's the grab. There's the grab. Not allowed. You are not allowed to touch the point. Get out. Now we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we are going to see just how this all pans out, because now I'm excited, Hex. The Seoul Dynasty looking completely revitalized.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
right back into the action where the Spark, Gushui is just, venting his ire, just destroying some stuff.
Seoul 2.0 puts on a pretty solid defense there, on the verge of winning a map here. Only have to get 50% of progress on point A for a new Seoul roster. If you're just joining us, Seoul subbed out their entire starting 6 for the new starting 6 at halftime.
Yeah, you could put it that way. Seoul, they just bopped the Spark.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty one-sided bopping in the first 2 maps for the Spark.
Yeah.
But then now Seoul showing what they're capable of here. Perhaps the depth in roster is the game changer that everybody's wondering.
Well, we've had some
could
good
be.
Zenyatta plays so far. Speaking of Zenyatta plays, make sure to get that Jodak skin, special edition MVP skin available for a limited time only. Be a Shocktopus, throw the octopus around.
Well, color me shocked here because we actually have damage dealers on the point. And we can see this on Numbani 8, where you get Fleta. Oh, Fleta just completely blindsiding him. IDK nearly gets blown up without even knowing what's happened.
Well, this is especially good when you only need to capture the point, and you have 3.5 minutes to do it.
Oh my goodness, that's you got the tin can already. D-Meg Rhea is going to be reeing his way back into a
Baby's dead. Baby's all alone, isolated by the Hammond. IDK gets there too late. Now IDK is trying to 1v1 a Hangzhou.
Oh, so sick, Fleta. So sick, Fleta. Now you're gonna get your barrage. You can just point blank barrage it, but you don't even need to. Because Seoul Dynasty, they win it just that quick. And there are definitely a lack of grins going on over on the side of the Spark. They're wondering what blazes just happened to us. How did it all go south so quick?
Yeah, who are we playing against? It's not fair. Seoul fielded one whole roster. Now Seoul fields another whole roster. And they come out looking like an entirely different team because ipso facto, they are an entirely different team. This is what makes Seoul a nightmare to prepare for. We will hit map 4 right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Огонь по готовности.
Into the iris.
Огонь по готовности. Алло, тиммейт!
So the Spark right now, oh, it's the Spark right now. They just got wrecked,
Just got
Hex.
blindsided by Seoul
Completely.
making an entirely different roster swap. It's the first time in Overwatch League history I feel pretty confident saying that all 6 members got swapped out for another 6 members because so few teams last year even ran a 12-man roster, so it would be impossible. And the teams that did not do a full 6-man. But like, how many iterations are there of a Rubik's Cube? That's how many different rosters Seoul can field because they have 12 people that they feel are very capable players.
Yeah.
And how do you prepare
we
for
saw
that?
that in the defense as
Yeah.
well. The positioning, how IDK nearly got picked immediately at the beginning of that push. He was not expecting a Pharah to come in all of a sudden and just start slamming rockets into that close quarters environment on the high ground. It just almost completely fell apart right there. they were able to stabilize, but it was still Seoul just rolling right on through.
Yeah, and you can see Hangzhou's reaction is very similar to mine of like,
All of them at the end of it, yeah. No smiles, no nothing. Really just a bit confused.
Now they're just kind of shaking it off. Look, they're still up in this series, and they dominated the first two.
He heard you say that,
Yeah.
shaking it off.
They dominated the first two maps here, so they were still up 2-1. And Numbani can be an outlier anyway, so you kind of just you forget about it. You only need to win one more map to beat Seoul and move on. And you know, what are you gonna do? I've mentioned a couple times, I think last week when I was doing pre-show about Seoul, I'm like, how do you prepare for this team? Yeah, because it's not like, oh, it's a 6 core, they play this style. Seoul's got all these different curveballs. It's like a pitcher who's got like 5 different pitches, and then he throws you a knuckleball too, and you're like, that's not fair. That's not fair. You can't have that many pitches.
Well, I mean, we have a little bit of a show here to see the variety at work, Hanks, in a comparison between Fitz and Gonsby. Fitz clearly, well, it just went his way in every way, shape, or form.
Is 21 good for average energy?
That's not really.
No, the answer is no.
Not really too much.
Oh, jeez, that was pretty one-sided there. Numbani was just bad. Just was not very good for the Spark.
You're gonna get off maps like that. It feels like that's kind of a map where the Spark is just gonna be like, right, that never happened, guys. Forget about it. We're going into map 3 now. Right, when they're going into map 4, obviously. It's just about resetting at this point.
It's also a huge advantage of it going offense second and knowing that you only have to do you have to capture this amount of time and you have 3.5 minutes to do it. So to get 50% in 3 minutes, it's really lends itself to having like a DPS composition, because you know eventually you're going to whittle them away on Numbani. So it's just about knowing your win condition, and that's the advantage of attacking second sometimes, especially if you have a very good defense. We do have even more substitutions incoming, and they're going to bring 4 new people in.
There you go. Let's just build on that. You can see Fitz and Fleta are staying on from the last roster, but now we get Munchkin and Marvel back into the fight, and as well as, I'm pretty sure I saw Jaehong there.
Yeah, it's Toby and Jaehong coming back in, so the support line will be returning in different fashion. So Seoul 3.0 makes its appearance as we head into our 4th map. The first iteration of Seoul that they rolled out, 0-2. Seoul 2.0, 1-0. Let's see what Seoul 3.0 has to offer.
I'm very curious to see how all these cameras line up. I mean, production right now, you know that all those head cameras have to get adjusted manually? That has to happen every time. Right now, they're keeping them on their toes, you know? Like, usually it's done once a match. Maybe here and there you get a sub. No. Change all the cameras every map.
People keep thinking I'm saying about how does the opposing team prepare for Seoul. No, how does the production team prepare for the Seoul Dynasty is the real question.
I mean, we're finding out right now.
We are going into our 4th map of Havana. Seoul trying to take us to a 5th map, and who knows, a 4th different roster. Hangzhou trying to close this one out after a really nice start going 2-0. And yeah, Havana, you can see some goofy stuff, and you can see 3-3. It's been a very Sombra favored map. I believe she's picked about 42% of the time compared to 36% on other maps, league average in stage 3. So I'd be surprised if we don't see Sombra, especially when we get to 2nd point. Maybe that's why Seoul is doing a little bit of changes. Jaehong Ana? Yeah, could be.
That could be fun.
I mean, you could run almost anything on the offense here. You're going to scout it out first. Defenses are going to hold very far forward. You can run almost anything except for some of the weird stuff Chengdu did yesterday.
Well, a little bit of a peek. See, you get your own little bubble there. It's actually kind of nice for Orisa. Take a gander. What are we up against here, boyos?
All right.
You got a dead baby and a dead Adora already. Munchkin just doing work.
All right. Okay. Well, Fleta takes to the sky. Munchkin, actually, his Widow's been so good this year. And that is several quick kills for the Seoul Dynasty.
Seoul have come to play. This could be the reverse of that coin, though, Hex, right? If you are actually truly getting the scrim time in with all 12 of your players, think about if you're a coach and you're thinking, if I'm stuck with 6, that I have to make do with what we have, and we're limited to certain strategies.
Yeah.
Here, a coach can just be like, I know that this guy's good at this and this, I know this guy's good at this and this, and then you can just mix and match and put them all together to abuse teams like this. Every strategy could be in Seoul's playbook. You have no idea. This is sick.
And you can mix and match, and you're like, there's a lot of positives and there's some negatives when it comes to trying to field this many players on one team. But so far, it is all positive. Well, it was 7-0, but those 2 quick kills, I don't think it's going to be enough necessarily, though, but does Seoul have the staying power to stay on this? Reinforcements will be in favor of Hangzhou here as they're right behind the wall, right behind the garage. That's a nice kill to take down Munchkin as well. And it does seem as though the Hangzhou Spark will stabilize.
It will stabilize, but for how long? Because now we're going to get the barrage going. We're going to get the EMP
is
going.
ready, yeah.
So you can just go EMP into barrage, into back to spawn with you guys. And then we can see if Seoul Dynasty stick to this,
And
or if they go for the
There's no sound barrier either, so you get EMP'd and everyone is going to be very low health and with no abilities.
As you can see, Fitz right now, he's hunting.
He just wants the hack on Rhea though, not gonna waste an EMP. Rhea does a good job of flipping around, denying the hack.
Oh, that was an unfortunate time to reload. That is an unfortunate time to reload. Could have happened there. Let's see. Fitz right now just setting it up. Those could be big. There we go, getting it done the old-fashioned way. Sure, we lose Jaehong on the other side though. So they're going tit for tat, but the Spark, it is now the time to go for the play. Perhaps not wanting to waste more time on it if it doesn't work. Because the force on the barrage there, Toby's gonna go ahead and get the res up on Marvel.
It's Marvel up, a much needed heal. Goes on to the point as well. So will take the first point after a couple of interesting fights there.
Yeah, I like this as well. You get the ults out there.
Yeah. Fleta's gonna switch. I think he just got bad spawns, so he's gotta wait to get up to this new spawn, perhaps, and switch over. Yep. Expected switch from Seoul as they continue on to second point. The roof is low, the corridors shrink, so you switch into a 3-3 variation. Jaehong and Ana. Fitz gonna stay on the Sombra. Hangzhou should be able to handle this one though. They've got an EMP.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the door closes. You got nowhere to run.
Well, they got
Another one. Munchkin's hanging. Munchkin is barely gonna make it out. Nice. Well, that's Hangzhou.
You like to get a couple more kills just to get your ultimate situation in a better spot. Not going to be the case though. 3 minutes left for the Seoul offense. Continue to push. The defense, despite you know, all appearances, is actually pretty stout here, holding on to second point. Only 3 pushes left. Nice little individual hack on Toby. Will not result in a kill. There's a Sombra v Sombra battle happening on the map as well.
Marvel is gone. Fled is purple. Seoul Dynasty, they are having a little bit more trouble now as we move into this the Sombra Goats kind of approach.
Well, you can't do anything with Marvel's down.
This is kind of Hangzhou's wheelhouse though now. Now it's like, oh no, okay, now you're playing our game.
Yeah.
Right? You're not getting to play your Pharah or, you know, your Widow.
Well, whichever game this variation of the roster wants to play.
Now you're playing
But
Sombra
this
Goat.
was the issue with Marvel early on as well, though. He died very early in those first couple of maps. Now he's back in, and it's kind of the same old, same old. Another big anti goes down from Bebe, and he's got his ultimate ready to go. EMP coming.
Here's the EMP. Do they find success? Nope. IDK's there with the sound barrier. That should be keeping him up. Excellent work. Marvel, though. That was a fantastic flanking shatter. Munchkin finds the first on IDK. He's going to be able to get back into this fight fast. Gushui tries to go for a shatter himself. Didn't work. Doesn't look like it. It is causing Seoul to have to slow down just a touch.
Gushui's going to die.
Gushui goes down, and that is the opening that Seoul were waiting so patiently for, but the time that it's taken them to make this happen.
Yeah. Still not ideal because both support ultimates were used. IDK did a great job of keeping everyone alive post EMP with a flank shatter. A little too much to handle. Seoul's able to come in here with a Graviton Surge. That's about all they have going for them. A rally, of course. EMP comes in early, but they get grabbed.
Re-up.
No follow-up available because they got grabbed.
Can't do it, can't play, can't make the plays. They are going to get overwhelmed, and this will be a second point picked up here for Seoul Dynasty. Minute 10 on the clock as well, so they're going to have a decent chunk of time to work with going to the third point.
Going to get a little extension on the bank here.
Extension, a 90-second extension.
Right now, Hangzhou has to play passively as well, and it's the right time to do it. They're trying to get everybody back in the mix. They needed a taxi Gushui back into the fight. But, you know, while the door is opening, you might as well. Cart's not moving during that time. EMP is incoming, though, and there's nothing to stop this.
Oh, man, massive shatter. Kind of what you expect when you're all stacked up and you all get EMP'd. Nothing you can do. And Seoul Dynasty are going to get a whole lot of push now out of this.
there just hasn't been any follow-up on any of the good things that Hangzhou's been able to do. The EMP comes out, but everyone gets grabbed. Absolutely no follow-up. You hit a 4-man nade, but 2 people are dead, so there's absolutely no follow-up. They're doing small individual plays, but individual plays don't win you Overwatch games. Team plays do. Following up on individual plays does. And for the last 2 minutes, Hangzhou's been unable to do any of that.
Nice adjustment there. Oh, the pick on Fitz could be big. And Fitz is gone. Gonna slow things down here for Seoul Dynasty. Without that EMP to have to worry about here for Hangzhou. Or he's gonna delay the EMP rather. As Fitz gets sent back to spawn.
Watching your back.
I'm wondering about Adora. If he can channel that inner EMP blocker.
Yeah, he had one match where I think he blocked 2 of them and then blocked a sound barrier as well. He's had some monster games very recently. Brigitte often gets overlooked because those things don't show up on stat cards.
Yes, exactly. But there's a boost already. Jayhawk committing. Fleto with the rally. Becomes very difficult to kill.
Yeah.
Gushue getting
anti
completely out of position, but this is still Hangzhou Spark finding 2 kills off the back of this. Fitz and Fleta go down.
Yeah, Fleta got antied, so that was the issue. And you usually can't kill a rallying Brigitte because she's rallying up armor. The armor's taking up all over the team. And while that's happening, also getting heals because your healers don't have to worry, they're getting armor. And that case, they hit a giant nade, able to follow it up. An EMP is incoming. IDK at 97%. This is the dance we need to see here. Can IDK save his team? That is okay, actually works out. They got Fitz in it.
Real, it actually works.
It looked very strange, but I think it looked strange because he was targeting Fitz. These are kind of shades of, I think it happened to, I can't remember exactly who it happened to earlier this year, but you target the Sombra so that you can't get EMP.
Yeah, and there it is. No EMP to worry about. Fitz instantly deleted. Touching the card, sacrificing himself to make the play. Seoul Dynasty, though, they're running in one after another. Marvel now out on a limb, just hanging in there, doing the best he can to survive, but Fleta goes down at the hands of IDK, and the rest of Seoul Dynasty will follow. It will be 2 points picked up for Seoul Dynasty, and the Hangzhou Spark now can feel a little bit more comfortable with how things played out.
Yeah, the Godspeed grab reminded me of Nene earlier this year on Rialto. He tried to get the Sombra because it was their only win condition. So that grab looks very strange in real time, but it's to try to find the invisible hero to deny that because you know you lose if you get EMP'd. So you just toss it in there, and they do hold in the 12th hour here. Interesting plays all around. It ends up very even, 28 to 27 kills in favor of Hangzhou. So this back and forth has been fascinating.
This just makes me wonder, how are Hangzhou going to measure up against teams that are willing to throw more damage in there? Because it seems to me, at least when you start playing, you know, the Sombra or 3-3 or whatever, you're in their wheelhouse. That's where they're comfortable. They're feeling it. They know what they need to do. They know how to adjust. But when they go up against damage, it seems like there is perhaps an opportunity to catch Hangzhou off.
It's kind of interesting because this team, when I looked at them when they were put together, I was like, oh my God, there's so much DPS talent on this team. There really are, and there's several of them still on the bench as well. But Godsby is known as a great talent. There's just a ton of guys who can play a ton of different heroes. But they've just been practicing nothing but 3-3 for the longest time, and now they finally figured out 3-3. It just seems like a very optimal level, and it took a while because now they added in a new tank in Gushue, and you have to work with Godsby, who's not a natural Zarya. Then they finally figured out, and the meta's like, hey, we're gonna switch Adia. But I think the natural skills of this team's DPS players will come to shine if they have to go toe-to-toe with a team like that. Right. You don't always have to go toe-to-toe in a DPS versus DPS. You can still run variations of your tank-heavy compositions.
What is this?
I was trying to get like an early pick, maybe. But Godsby is also known as a very good Genji. Adora can play a whole lot of different stuff. So it wouldn't stun me to see Genji, especially if they're expecting a Widow. Remember, Genji was like the best counter to Widow early in the 2018 Overwatch season.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Munchkin on the Widow right now. And that is true. I mean, many a Dorado have we seen where it's that Genji battle.
Yeah, so Seoul is playing double sniper and Orisa here. So you want everyone to try to crack the shield of Orisa, and then your snipers want to be able to get people in a crossfire. You want to try to triangulate a position here.
That rung Godsby's bells. All right.
Yeah, but in the end, it just ends up charging up his supports.
Yeah, Baby's going to be thanking him for that.
No one can hide
So where are the juicy targets for Munchkin? Now this is the frustrating thing for Munchkin. He's going to get to see the juicy targets through a wall.
It's such a different strategy because a lot of teams are just holding at the doorway here, and you don't have the beef right now if you're Seoul to hold at the doorway. You're giving up a lot of free push. You're putting this down to a single fight situation for the first point, really.
There's a lot of damage waiting for him though here. Fleta is perfectly capable of ruining anybody's day.
EMP is about to be ready as well. They nano Winston on in.
Gushui trying to make the play. Going in, yep, hacked, and now you got no way out, buddy.
D.Va got slept as well, so the dive tanks both down, and Dragon gets fired in as well, gonna clear up the cart. IDK down, Gushui down. Fleta is meta yet again. Goes in and they win that first fight. 2 minutes left for Hangzhou.
So far things looking pretty good here for Seoul Dynasty. You're right, 2 minutes on the clock left for the Spark, and what is the answer? Are they going to be able to adjust to this meta, to this strategy? Toby, barely making it out.
Well, that's bad because Seoul didn't even have to use EMP. And if you're Hangzhou right now, you have to know that they have EMP. IDK a mile away from sound barrier. I don't have a great feeling about this. I think we're going to map 5.
Yeah, it's definitely got the idea. Definitely possible here. Minute 40 on the clock.
Oh, they sleep Gushui on the jump, and now the EMP and anti. Both tanks down again. How are you gonna dive snipers when both your dive tanks are down?
They're just waiting patiently, like, hey, we found the solution. The actual solution is no, you're going back to spawn. You get to think about it a little bit more. Definitely looking a bit frustrated over on the side of the Spark now. Godspeed doing a bit of talking, trying to get people in. Godspeed trying to make plays, but he's gonna pay for it. He goes down.
He got Fleta, but Fleta's back to life with a resurrection. No one's gonna sneak around on this one too because Munchkin had eyes, and Munchkin's got eyes for IDK. He goes down. 60 seconds remain on the Hangzhou offense. They do have grab. They will have a nano. They will have everything, so they've been banking up at least. Hangzhou Spark have played this okay, considering the situation. They're gonna have every ultimate online here. And I believe you start with a nano on Gushui and hope he doesn't get slept, but he's gotta go in with his D.Va. Dragon gets nothing, zones out. Godspeed is the one who slept. Grab comes in. He slept after the grab. Nice bubble on Baby D.Va, by the way.
Oh, buddy, there it is. All the big kills right at the end. Hangzhou Spark in the end. It turns out you just needed to go and make the plays.
Well, yeah, okay, but let's be realistic here. All you needed to win a single fight if you're Hangzhou was 5 ultimates? Use 5 ultimates?
And you got him here too, in the replay. Just count along with us.
Yeah.
1 ult. Whoa. 2 ults. That's gonna take a while.
Ria's able to live through that. It was actually a really nicely timed bubble because he was dead to rights to Fleta's Hangzhou if he doesn't get that bubble in Baby D.Va form. 2 minutes and some change on the clock though. Fitz is looking for the EMP to try to reset the economy for Seoul.
Oh, but he doesn't manage to catch him. He is gonna force the sound barrier out. Fleta getting demolished.
We know now in retrospect, now that I think about it, it actually is okay for Hangzhou to have to use all those ultimates because Seoul couldn't run that comp in this second part. So they're gonna have to reset anyway. And actually, Hangzhou doesn't get bullied off with that EMP. Oh, things are going great for them. Huh.
Huh is right. Hangzhou now, they've got the ball rolling. They are definitely making their way through this tortuous pass with the bridges, where usually you see teams start to contest pretty frequently. Seoul Dynasty, however, is taking them a bit. Now we will have it. But then you actually have the shift coming in here from the Spark.
On Nano Gushui, the Goosh is loose. Goes for a huge shatter.
Finds 2, stuffs it, gets him into the corner.
Oh, Fitz goes down as well. A better exchange. Marvel ended up getting the nano boost as well, so it was both Gushui and Marvel swinging at each other, but Gushui committed the Earth Shatter, whereas Marvel's still holding on to his. Seoul can fight this. They have grab, they have shatter, and there's no defensive ultimates.
No, grabs all over the place though. They're getting brought in, and it's gonna be Jaehong to go down in the mix. The shatter thrown out. Hail Mary play, but we lose IDK and trade for Munchkin. Marvel gonna be the next one, and Seoul Dynasty getting stuffed on the defense. It's the Hangzhou Spark who will power through, who will pick up 2 points. And Hex, they don't have to go all that far.
Gods,
win here.
Yeah, Gods was just chilling on top, doing so much damage over the top. Their defensive ultimates, usually meaning a support ultimate, defensive ultimates in that case, the self-destruct we normally see, but also the defensive graviton to keep them away. That damage is not ranged almost at all for Seoul. So a really nice defensive grab from Godsby. And you're right, very few meters left to go. A little bit about 33.
Fitz has got the EMP though. There it is. That's the setup he was looking for. Where's the follow-up though? Where do they get the kills on the Spark? Somehow the Spark are surviving this. IDK though, he needs some help, and he will get it. Godsby.
It got 3, but they were all over the place. IDK hit after that. Both the tanks were in different spots, and the Seoul follow-up was a mile away. Seoul's gonna have to use a nano here.
Gushway's got a shatter though, just gonna throw it. Bubble was there, Gushway instantly getting punished by Fleta, who's trying to get that rally value, and he does manage to get quite a bit of armor up.
Counter nano goes on to Gushway. Soul's gonna disengage.
Oh, this is
they can't
nasty.
disengage too far though. Godsby's got grab.
Godsby can set it up now. The shatter gets thrown out. What a monstrous shatter thrown in by Marvel. 2 go down. Laid out for Slate. Godsby and Bebe out of the fight here for the Spark. Now it's a quick reset for the Spark. Just get back to spot ASAP. Reset as a team because you have that grab. Thing is that Munchkin's got the grab on the other side, and Fitz has had the time to build that EMP again.
Very nearly mirrored ults, but the EMP could be the game changer here. Adora can come out here with a rally and try to pressure them and swing away. You might get caught out. Fitz might get caught out by Adora looking for him. It's a great spy check. That mace. This one could go either way right now.
Oh, it's this way. There it is. Full EMP. Massive EMP. Happens so early though, and are they able to back off? No, Gushway goes down, and this is a disaster potentially here for the Spark. They need to die quick. Instant reset. Right now, you've got another chance. 20 seconds on the clock, and that was the combo for Seoul. So now it's about setting yours up. You've got 15 seconds to get on that card.
All right, Godsby also used his grab during that one as well. Last fight set up right here. Do or die for Hangzhou.
There's the sound barrier. Attempt to shatter from Marvel, just throwing it up. Rhea goes down, but that's all right. He's going to be here setting it up for the rest of his team to go for the big ults. Now they need to find a kill on Seoul Dynasty here, Spark. They need to find some value. IDK going down isn't going to help things here, and Bebe looks like he's going to follow up next. The Seoul Dynasty might actually pull off this defense. It's looking so good for him now. They kept their cool.
With Godsby down, that might just be it. It is desperation time. Adora will fall next. There's nothing left for Hangzhou here. Seoul 3.0 wins their first map as a roster here. And we are going to map number 5. Oh boy, what a way to end the day.
Yeah, that is so good here. You can see it on the face of the Seoul Dynasty. Everything they were hoping for. Fitz and Fleta, redemption time for them. They stuck on and it made it work. Fitz was struggling a little bit, but he got the job done. Now the Hangzhou Spark, you can see, definitely not pleased with things. They know what they were capable of. We're going to a map 5 after the break. Spark couldn't get the job done on the 4th map. We're obviously looking for the first team to reach 3 map victories, Hex, to take this series. So it means we're going to a map 5. And we all get to wonder, what's going to happen next with Seoul?
Which Seoul Dynasty are they going to field right now?
You know who else is wondering that right now?
The Hangzhou Spark.
They're like, what is going on here? What do they got to do?
It does seem a little. I think you just have to be unfazed by it and just start being like, okay, let's play our game. Let's not worry about it. Like, maybe they're gonna try something new. Let's focus on us. It's the only thing you can control right now is the roster you put out there. Hangzhou has not made any changes, and that's why they've been so successful lately. Seoul's making a lot of changes. You could argue that's why they've been so successful lately. Only lost to San Francisco in their last 4. So let's see which iteration of Seoul is happening to. It does look like the Seoul 2.0 that we saw on Numbani. This was the 6 that played Numbani. Of course, Seoul went 0-2. They brought in 6 brand new players off of their bench to win Numbani. Made a couple changes to go to Habana, and now we're back to the Numbani lineup.
This was a lethal combination, though, that wiped the Spark out on Numbani. So maybe this is the Top Gun kind of roster that the Seoul Dynasty keep in the back pocket the entire time. Like, release the nukes, you know, like
this is this would be like their DPS aggressive roster. Fissure known as a more aggressive main tank when he has to play it. Also a very capable Hammond as well. So if you want to play DPS compositions, going into a control map would make a lot of sense. I don't know. I would love to just sit down for hours and hours and pick the brains of the coaching staff and the GM and be like, why are you making these draws? What's up? I can only infer based on what I see, but this has been fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
It's been a great series, and Oasis options for DPS comps here. Glad that our boy Fleta is still in this match.
Yeah.
Just saying. Fleta is still here on the stage. There is potential here, Hex. There is potential.
Well, Seoul has been very, very good on Oasis this year. Undefeated. The Dynasty 6-0 on Oasis. Been a mixed bag for the Spark. 3-3 for Hangzhou. All right, let's get into it. It's hard to tell what a team's going to run until they leave spawn, but you're this close to the door, you can infer that it does seem to be a 3-3 mirrored matchup here as we go into the gardens of Oasis.
Let's go. Let's see who's going to take it. Seoul Dynasty straight in. Fissure, of course, wastes no time whatsoever.
He's lucky that rollout was as quick as it was because IDK was going to be waiting for him, looking for another environmental. Yeah,
he was looking for it for sure. Fissure onto the low ground now. And as far as the setup is concerned, Seoul need to be careful not to get too split up because the Spark right now are sticking together as a good tight unit, and that makes them dangerous. If they run into a part of the Seoul Dynasty, they could cut that part off, and Seoul right now trying to keep up with the poke battle. Fleta dropped a bit low. That was a little scary, but Bebe on the other side right now for the Spark. He's going to get the pack, which means the tanks could be vulnerable. There's a golden opportunity here for Seoul Dynasty, but then Bebe and Adora, just like that. Bebe and Adora just make it all happen for the team.
Really great energy and pressure from Godsby. We're on his POV most of the time. He was at 90 plus. And yeah, sometimes you're not going to see that hitbox going off or the hit alert going off because you're pressuring down the shield. And the shield battle can mean so much between these two of where can your Reinhardt position? Can he afford to take another hammer swing up front? Can he afford it? Right? And so you beam down that shield. Godsby doing work, already has Graviton, Fitz about 19 away from his. Great positional advantage still from Hangzhou too. High energy, these alternate fires from Zarya just chunk away at the team. You hit a couple in a row on a support and they're gone.
Yeah, they could do some serious pain. Shadow thrown in. That was wishful thinking on the side of Fissure. Just hoping for the big one, but instead it's going to be a grab hucked into his face. Follow up from Spark, just a grab so far. There's the rally from Adora. We do have the trance online for Bebe. And Jexy right now who's having to throw in the sound barrier. It's just all of the ults coming out. Who's gonna get the team? Spark don't care right now because they still got control of the point. As long as this fight goes on, they're getting closer and closer to 99.
Yeah, and this is a map that can be so difficult to win the fight cleanly enough to take it back. This used to go 90-90-99 with Barra battles in the sky. It is completely one-sided though, as Hangzhou racks up kill after kill. It is 8 kills to 0, all in favor of Spark right now. Add a few more in, 10-0, 71% and counting. By the time we fight again, it will be match fight, or rather point fight for Hangzhou. and they have to push into a grab.
This is where you have to question it, though.
Highly has to hit a volley. He has to hit a volley or they are in trouble because this grab will be coming in quick. Gatsby is not the type to hold on to his grabs for very long.
We can bring the speculation into it later, but you're right. We do have Highly. He's nearly got that trance online. It's just, it should take up naturally.
You almost don't even want to fight until he has it.
Yeah, so he's got it online now. Gatsby is waiting. Patience, as always. And it turns out he doesn't even need it. Highly goes down. First to go. The man who has the answer to the potential nightmare that Gatsby exactly is going to throw out right now on your screen. No trance. There is no trance to keep his team alive.
Just yeeted in from downtown because they got Highly super early. Gatsby is on the hard carry right now. 13-0. Hangzhou take the first point of Oasis.
Right, and this is where I want to come into it. Speculation time. Put the hat on and be like, we talked about this earlier, Hex. It was your strength to run damage before. That seemed to work against the Spark. Now you're trying to go back into the Spark wheelhouse with players who clearly demonstrated that they can play damage. What's going on here? On points that you can play damage on.
They might be rosters that you're just set for certain maps. A lot of teams run it that way. That's not the greatest stage to run damage dealers on, especially not a combination of damage dealers. You can run a Fair Mercy and other stuff, but then your grounded pound gets a little bit different. I'm interested that they're going to continue to run the 3-3 into the Spark on this point, because very good for Farah here. I don't know.
Spark are grinning right now. They're like, great, cool. The Solar playing the game that has allowed us to outperform others so far in this stage. And now Solar coming to us in map 5 and playing our game. Fantastic. The Spark right now have got to be feeling very confident with the situation. We'll see how that pans out now as the fight has already begun. It's that poke battle back and forth.
Gatsby's gotten so much more patient as the season has gone on, using his barriers. He sat there with 0 energy for a while because it wasn't a great opportunity for him. Then he uses both barriers, gets up to 80. The max he can get off of 2 barriers right there. And so his energy charge has been astounding throughout. And Gushui is getting all the support he needs up front.
Yeah, he's on full energy now. Fitz nearly copped it there, but that means that some support abilities are on cooldown. Oh, Rhea, though, getting overwhelmed. Godspeed, gotta be careful. Him and Gushui kind of stepping out of line, need to back off and give some ground. Seoul Dynasty getting that first control is so important now.
They're only down 1 though, and now they equalize because Jackson got stunned and now he gets fire struck. However, does Hangzhou think they can come in here clean enough? Because Seoul is in control of the point.
Buddy, we're gonna go for a trance now. That is a play here from Highly.
Should be counter-grabbed, like immediately counter-grabbed.
Yep, there it is. Brings him in and back to spawn with you. Michelle with the self-destruct trying to be defensive, but the kills came in too quickly. Fitz goes down, and that is Seoul Dynasty getting sent back. So 50%, do we get 50%? Do I get a 50%? We may even get a 51. No, just a 50 for Seoul Dynasty. There you go. That first control for Seoul actually got so much value for him. But now Hangzhou are in the ones in the driving seat.
Godspeed, 15 eliminations, 6 final blows, 71% average energy, grab every 50 seconds, 5 Graviton Surge kills. It has been the show of the Godspeed.
It's of the Spark as a whole, 19 kills to 2. Seoul Dynasty, 2.
But they got 50% of the 2, right?
Hey! This is something. Let's see. Hey! Let's go.
Settle down, Fonz. All right. Somehow Spark's still in control at this point, even though it's just been Fissure hanging out. He misses his charge, and Fleta dies to his counterpart.
Andorra is going to go ahead and get into that fight. He's going to love it. Fitz goes down to the hands of Godspeed, and Fissure pastes it against the wall as well. We're going to get a tied situation now, and Spark take the lead. 51%. I'm pretty sure it's bigger than 50, and they keep climbing. So Seoul Dynasty are the ones who are on the back foot now. We do have Fitz coming up with the grab, but Godspeed is already waiting for him.
And you might even expect Bebe to get there too, based on how well he has played early in this matchup. 24-3, 24-3 kills.
It's a very one-sided affair. You really are playing to the Spark's strengths with this strategy right now from Seoul. You're seeing it, the Spark, they've hit their stride. They know what they need to do here to lock it down.
They're just gonna hold high ground. And like, it's just D.Va hanging out in the gazebo here. Just holding the high ground. They'll drop down when they have to, but they're taking the free progress. Fitz drops very low.
This is bonkers. And now Fissure. There's the play. Adora! So good!
Godspeed POV with the cleanup, gets another couple of kills. 9 final blows now for Gosby as they look to close this one out. Adora shows up again big, and those are the plays. Those are the plays that don't show up in the stats. Hangzhou is going to take down Oasis in dominant fashion.
There you go, Godsby.
Let's get it.
Making it as clear as they Seoul Dynasty go down in 5. The Spark, thanking their lucky stars.
29-3. Whew. A sigh of relief for Hangzhou there, as it looked like they were dominating the first half of this match. Seoul made huge changes, swung back to the roster that brought them back into this match, and then just got rocked on Oasis, a map which they had not lost until just now.
Unreal. So, the Spark, they're showing that they've got the mental game here. They realize when to take advantage of certain situations. They realize how to close out the maps.
Yeah.
All of the kills. And when you have Godspeed, who's just outright dominating, with the help of Adora, gotta give credit to where credit's due. Adora, that stun onto Fisher, he just came out of nowhere, dropped out of the sky.
And he's been doing it for the last several of their matches too. And like I said, you have to really look at this. Use our replay viewer, use our all access pass, and just chill on Adora's POV for a little bit, because those will almost never show up in the stats. We don't show you a lot of Brigitte POV. We can only see it on the overlay sometimes. But those are the kind of plays he's been making to enable the rest of his team to look so good. Why do you think some of these volleys are coming through? Baby, he's dropping shields with bashes. Like, this team has really come together as a unit. We've got Danny on the floor with the winning team.
Samurai Hex, thank you very much. We have a very special post-match interview with Bebe and IDK. Thank you guys. Congratulations on the victory. That was a very close match, but you guys clutched it at the end. IDK, like I said, after halftime, Seoul almost took the win, but you guys actually turned things around. IDK, how were you able to do that? 이제 halftime 다음에 서울이 살짝 우세를 타는 것 같았었는데 마지막에 항저우 팀이 잘 이기게 됐죠. 어떻게 해서 이기게 된 것 같나요?
서울팀이 이제 팀이 2개다 보니까 되게 저희가 또 준비를 되게 많이 했었는데 그거보다 서울은 더 많이 준비를 했었던 것 같은데 그냥 저희가 더 잘해서 이긴 것 같아요.
서울이 준비를 많이 했는데 그보다 더 준비를 많이 했다?
저희가 준비를 많이 했는데 서울은 더 많이 준비를 해온 것 같은데 이미 우리가 더 강했다 이거죠.
Okay, alrighty. So coming to the match, we knew that Seoul team had 2 separate teams, so we actually prepared a lot to go against Seoul Dynasty. But we also know that Seoul Dynasty prepared a lot to go against us, but we're just a better team and we won. Simple. Alrighty. And for you, baby, we have to watch this clip on Horizon. You had a clutch play, and we're gonna play this, and I want you to walk us through that moment. 일단 이제 영상을 보시게 될 텐데요. 오늘 베베 선수의 슈퍼 플레이를 보고 좀 설명을 해주세요. 이게 어떻게 해서 이렇게 잘 슈퍼 플레이 할 수 있었는지. 굉장한 플레이. 어떻게 된 건가요?
이 상황 때 저희가 거의 밀릴 뻔한 상황이었는데 저는 그냥 이때 무조건 상대를 잡아야 막을 수 있겠구나 이런 생각하고 저희 팀이 거점 밟는 걸 저는 믿고 아무나 밟겠지 생각하고 그냥 무조건 상대를 킬 따는 데 집중했던 것 같아요.
As you guys could all see, I was in the back and we almost lost that team fight, but I really believe that my teammates were gonna stay on point so that the Seoul Dynasty team can't capture the point. So I stayed back and then I just clicked heads and got the kills. And also, while this was happening, I actually saw that IDK, you were high-fiving Bebe during the team fight while you guys were actually playing. Was there a reason why you did that? Were you just really happy? 방금 한타 도중에 제가 봤었는데 이거를 막 킬을 따고 있었는데 중간에 일어나서 이렇게 하이파이브를 한번 하시더라고요. 왜 그러셨나요? 그냥 너무 즐거워서?
일단 이제 비비는 싸움에서 제일 중요한 브리기트를 제가 이제 바티스트로 잡고 1차이가 이제 베베가 이제 3명 잡는 거 보고 우리 둘이 다 했다. 그걸 이제 승리의 이제 기쁨의 이제 하이파이브 그랬던 것 같아요.
As Baptiste, I saw that the brig was on point, and as soon as I killed the brig, Baby was getting the 3 kills, and at that moment we knew that we had done our part. And we got the point, and we won. So that's why I did the high five. All right, Bebe and IDK, thank you guys so much. Samurai Hex, back to you guys.
Thank you, Danny. Great interview, great answers actually as well. I do like to hear that they are the better team, because yes, in fact, when you are trying to mirror them versus GOATs, I'm just gonna keep saying it. You're just playing into their strengths. You're just playing to their strengths and hoping for a different result.
It's kind of like we've been talking about, you know, if you can't run the 3-3 against teams, stop running the 3-3. But hey, sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. Just a great performance by the Spark. It's good to see them tested and have the resolve to pull it back in 5.
I agree. And I mean, you also have Seoul is looking up. You got to give it to him. Yes, perhaps didn't quite work out. Let's take a look at our owned by HP player of the match, Baby and IDK.
Players of the match for one of the first times in the Overwatch League. We couldn't decide. Bebe on this map, IDK on the very first map, getting all of the environmental kills. God, the support line is really good. And, you know, you think about the top teams, the killers. Like we say, you've got Moth and Violet, crushers. Slime and Twilight, crushers. Jonak and Animo, crushers. Maybe start talking about these guys in the same vein when you're able to do all of that damage. So many final blows. The environmental kills, of course, from IDK, they protect each other. And I don't know, man, like I always like when they seem like they have a good vibe together, too. I think that friendship really does, it is magical. It really helps you win games.
It is magical, and when you got to spend all day training for the same position, when you guys, it's the team within the team.
Yeah.
And you have to have that at the cutting edge. So, yes, glad to see that they get it today. For our player of the match, owned by HP. Let's take a look at the stage 3 standings now, how things are panning out. Spark up into that 4th spot now, 4-1 on the record. Seoul Dynasty hanging in, but in the 8th slot.
4 wins with a good map differential usually gets you into the standings, but now you're kind of challenging for really high seeding in the standings as well if you're the Spark. So the next couple of matches going to be very important for them. I kind of agree with Josh, though. I think the Dynasty have an easy schedule coming up. They should bounce back. Hey, maybe we'll get to see a rematch of these two teams in the Stage 3 playoffs.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Today was a fantastic match to close the day on. So this match, rather. So now that's going to be it for us here as far as matches are concerned, but we're not done yet with the broadcast. We have our post-show coming up right after the break. Watch point, tune in. Hex is going to be there. That's always a good thing. You don't want to miss it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey man, what's up?
You need anything for today?
Nah man, I think I'm set.
Big day today, man?
Yeah, huge. Let's play some Overwatch.